welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photo Quick Tip. Today we've got one that's not so quick actually, but it's actually a pretty important lesson in life that we'll learn as we go through photography. I've been doing photography for well over 40 years, and I tell you, you learn lessons as the longer you go, the more experience you get. And one of the things that I have personally learned and continually learn is you've got to take the time to keep your libraries organized. Otherwise, they become absolutely useless to you, or they actually become a burden on you. I have a library right now that's in excess of 500,000 images. And it's a real chore when I want to look for a particular image. I have tried so many different systems to organize my photos, and I have changed my method many times in so many decades. So what I'm going to share with you today is my latest solution, why, and I'm going to offer you an automated tool if you're a Mac user on how to automate some of this to help you organize your photos and hopefully get a handle on it before it becomes unmanageable. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so photographer's organization. Okay, this is every photographer's nightmare. You may not realize it at first, but it's going to bite you sooner or later. And I've tried numerous methods, and some of them seem so logical at the time, but I found out they're terrible. First one I tried was organize by date. Well, it seems simple enough, right? If I have a shoot on a particular day, I make a folder for that date, and there we go. What more could we want from life, right? Easy to find out. I can remember last Tuesday I shot this photo shoot. Oh, last Wednesday I was in Hawaii. Easy to do. But try to remember that 10 years from now or 5 years from now. So I says, well, that isn't quite working. Let's give a little more information on the date, because 1/21/1990 doesn't tell me anything about the photos that are contained within that folder. So I improved it over the years. So I went to the date plus the event or the site or the time or whatever the case may be. I said, okay, that's it. This is going to work now. And again, I thought I had the solution, but as it found out, I didn't have the solution because I didn't think in the future, and that's my problem. I was thinking short-sighted. So, example, using my latest system was, hey, the date and the event. Beautiful. Got it. I can remember that, and if I want to find the Hawaii pictures, not a problem. I could see right in my structure, there's the Hawaii photos. What I didn't account for was, hey, what if I go to Hawaii once? Maybe twice. Maybe 3 times. Maybe 4 times. Which folder contains the photos that I'm looking for? It's been so many years now, I just don't remember. Oh, good gravy. I went a 5th time. 12 years worth of span of time. I don't know where my photo that I want is in. Was it in 91? Was it in 95? I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to have to open these photos, and then I'm going to have to search through them to find the one that I'm looking for. Incredibly wasteful amount of time. Okay? And believe me, I'm speaking from experience because I thought this system was going to work just fine. Okay, here's just a little screenshot, okay? like I told you, I have over 500,000 images. Okay? That's plus and growing. And I have over, let's see, 9 hard drives worth of photos. All right? 9 external hard drives filled with photographs. So I don't have a prayer of finding a particular photo that I want the way I am. Just look at my file structure. I went by year, I went by event, I went by the location. Heck, if I went to a birthday party, I've changed my method so much over the years. I have nothing but a bunch of mess. And I have it over multiple hard drives. And so then I also analyzed it even further. Okay? I went in and I said, but I also have social media. And when I take a picture, I've got to put it to 500 pics, to my website, to Instagram, to Flickr, Facebook. So I wind up not only having the original image, but I have 5 versions on top of that on my hard drive. And because of my stupidity, they're all IMG 1012-5. And I have 6 versions of that on the hard drive located in different folders. Now I have to figure out, is this the Flickr version with that resolution? Is this the Instagram version? Was this the export for print? Was this... See, you get my point? Over time is when you realize these kind of problems. All right? Now you take that by 500,000 photos. And if I posted 500,000 photos and put them on different media sites and so forth, just imagine how many files I have duplicate names and duplicate things, and I don't know which is which, and I can't keep anything like that. And my catalog falls apart. It doesn't even account for this. So I said, what do I do? And then I also went into another thing. How many times have we turned around and picked up a print maybe from an old shoebox in the closet, or we've even looked at a picture that we took on our iPhone, and we start looking at a photo and go, oh, yeah, I remember this. This was so-and-so's birthday party, I think, but I can't remember her name. I don't remember what year it was. Was this taken at Ellen's house? I can't honestly remember. Now you see how this is? This wouldn't happen if this birthday party happened last Tuesday. I could remember. But if it happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, our memory fails us. And how many times have you looked at a photo and go, who is that? Who is that? And thus, another problem for me to contend with organizing my photos. All right? Next. Okay, as many of you know, for a number of years, I shot sporting events. Okay? And it was one of the best educations I could have ever gotten. It was a total new world to me when I first went into shooting sports. And the first thing I learned was, boy, you work hard to shoot sports. A lot of people that have never shot it before, it's like if you're shooting a football game or a hockey game, whatever, they want their photos. The press agencies, the people, they want their photos, at the end of the period, at the end of the quarter, the first half, the second half. They want those photos uploaded to the press agencies. And you have to turn around and upload your photos right there on the sidelines. Okay? You've got to do this all instantaneously. And not only that, you have to turn around and document to the guy. Like here's an example. A guy swinging a bat at the home plate. Go, Who is that? What did he do here? Did he strike out? Did he hit a home run? Did he what did he do? You're not telling me. And a press agency is going to look at photos, hundreds of photos like this, and go, what is it? And you have to provide that information to them. So the way you provide that information is through metadata. Okay? So when you're on the sidelines, you shoot a half of a game or a quarter, a period, whatever that is, you're on your little laptop on the sidelines or in the press rooms, sitting there and filling out, tagging these photos at lightning speed, okay? And you're putting in this information. You're putting in the description, the captions, the headlines, the keywords, of course, crucial copyright information. Okay? Now, with this information, we could turn around and literally find any image we want or that the press room wants instantaneously. Is it work? Yes, it is absolutely work. But if you do it as you shoot, it doesn't become that big a burden. And so that's how it was done in the sports arena. And I says, why couldn't I do some kind of combination with the sports workflow with other images and other things like real life? Whether you're a pro or not, you could take a little bit of these practices and combine them into a solution that'll help you organize your photos. So the solution I came up with is it's a combination of metadata and folder organization. Okay? I need to solve all the problems that I had described earlier here in the presentation. Okay? I need to take into account that I'm going to have print versions, social media posts, exports, the whole 9 yards. Plus, I need to be able to find photos in a quick and efficient manner. All right? So, how I figured this out is we're going to do a folder structure, and there's going to be much more than what we're used to. Now this folder structure, okay, has been thought out and worked out into the minute details. Okay. The first thing is we're going to have a master folder that's going to contain all our photos. Then we're going to have project or session folders beneath that, okay, that we're going to name. And again, there's no rule of thumb, whatever works for your workflow. Okay, if you want to put, 1-1-2010, Susan's wedding, then that's how you go ahead and do the project labeling. Whatever system works for you there. If you want to have a birthday party and you're going to be shooting that, then go ahead and say Andy's birthday party and name the session that way. Now, the next thing is we're going to have a bunch of subfolders that's going to help us with all the other problems we have. The first folder that we have under this session folder is going to be the originals or the raw files. Okay? So when we take a memory card out of our camera and we shoot, we're going to download all the raw photos directly to the originals folder. Okay? And they're never going to be touched. Those are our negatives, right? Just like in the old film days, the originals are there for backup purposes. Okay? The next folder is the selects. Okay? So the first thing you do when you get a whole new bunch of photos on your hard drive is you go through the originals folder and you're going to select photos that you want to edit. Okay? You don't want to edit. If you took 300 photos for that day, maybe only 100 of them are any good. So you want to whittle it down or cull your photos. If you shot a wedding, for example, same thing. So what you do is you use a tool like Photo Mechanic, and you select all your selects, and then you move your selected images and copy them into the selects folder. Okay, so now you have 2 copies, okay, of photos, but the originals remain in place and intact. Then you have your edits. Okay, when you're working with Photoshop or whatever editing tool you use, your edit photos go in those folders. Okay, you see how we're organizing here? Then we have the one thing that was driving me crazy was the output. Okay, I made a bunch of output folders so that I could keep organized about the different outputs that I say, the JPEG versions, because Flickr requires this cropping and this resolution. Instagram requires this cropping and this resolution. And Facebook requires another, right? So I have output folders that are underneath the output folder that I can put in all my outputs. And then I know at a glance, okay? Oh, the Flickr folder, these are my Flickr outputs for this particular shoot. Or this is my Instagram for this particular shoot. Okay, you get the idea? So that's how it works, and it keeps us organized. And then the session, the master folder session, becomes liftable and movable to any location, whether it be another hard drive or so forth, and all the photos and all the work stay together as a group. All right, so it's very modular. And believe me, I have been using this new system, and it has been working out wonderfully. Okay, now this is the folder structure, but we got to combine that with the metadata. All right, there's no way around it. If we're going to have a functioning catalog system that's going to work, we need to take the structure that we're going to design here with the metadata, okay, the keywords and so forth, and that's going to be our system as a whole. Okay? All right. Then the last folder is your prints folder. Okay? The prints folder is just like it says. If you're going to do 300 DPI prints and you want to have a version of that saved out of your library, you would put those images there for prints, okay? Because depending on the lab, whether you home print or you send it off to a commercial lab, it's going to have requirements with color spaces, with DPI settings and so forth. So we made an export folder for that. So there it is. There's our solution. Now, I know a lot of you are going to go, oh, whoa, Lenny, I'm never going to do all this work. You're going to mean every time I take a shoot, I've got to sit there and make a project folder. I got to go make an original folder. I got to make a select folder. You're crazy. I'm not going to do all this work. Nobody's going to be that disciplined. Well, you're absolutely right. Okay. And even I wasn't that disciplined when I started this system. So I had to automate it. Okay. And luckily, you can automate this so that it's just, hey, a new shoot. Give me the name, and everything is created for you in one click. Okay? So today, I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's go ahead and jump in, and we're going to show you the tools. Okay. So the tool I'm talking about now, unfortunately, only works for Mac. Okay? If you're on a PC, you'll have to do some research. I'm sure there's another tool that's available to PC users that's very similar to what I'm going to show you on the Mac. The tool I'm going to show you on the Mac is called Automator. Okay? And it's appropriately named because it's going to automate the process. So, to open up, I'm going to open up a Finder window. And I'm going to go to the Applications folder. And this is built in on every Mac, okay? It's not something you have to buy or you have to do. It's built into every Mac. There it is right there, Automator, okay? It's built into your operating system. So we're going to double click on that. And it's going to ask you, what do you want to do? we want to make a new one, right? So new document. So there we go. And now we're prompted with this crazy interface. Workflow, application, quick action. Oh, what the heck is all this? I'm going to simplify this for you. We're going to make an application that automates all this stuff for us. So just select application. You don't need to understand any of the other options. Just pick application. And we'll create that. And now we'll put here with the interface. Pretty intimidating. A lot of things on the screen, and you go, what am I going to do with this? It's actually very, very easy. The left side is a bunch of commands or actions that we can choose from. The right side, which happens to be blank right now, is the order of what's going to happen. So, example, I said, let's automate making all those folders for us. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. How do we do that? Well, the first thing I need to know is what's the project name, right? What's the session name? Well, let's go over here on the left, and let's just say I need to ask. The computer's got to ask me for some text, right? So ask for text. Select it, drag it over to the right. Okay, it's that easy. So this, I don't understand how it works. It just does. So here, I could type in the question, so it's a prompt, right? I'll go, well, project session name. This way. Boy, I can't type today. Okay, so when the first thing this program is going to do, it's going to ask me project session name. So it's going to ask me to input that. Okay, great. Now what? Well, the next thing we're going to do is say we need to store that information, that answer that I'm going to give, and so that the computer can use it. Okay, the computer has funny names and tries to intimidate, but it's very easy. We're going to set a value to a variable, okay, which is right here. Now, a variable, it's a computer programming term, which means if I put the letter A and I say that means A is equal to the session name. A variable is nothing more than a visual representation of some value. So I'm going to drag this in. And you'll notice they automatically link together. And I'm going to say a new variable. All right, so here we go. New variable. And we're going to call this one, we're going to call it new project. Okay, that's just a name that we're calling the value. So we have new project in there. And now so you say, okay, what do I want the computer to do next? So the computer's going to ask me for the session name of the project. It's then going to store that information in a variable called new project. And now, well, let's see, I think about this. Oh, it's got to know where to put it on the hard drive, right? So let's ask, in the Mac world, it's called the Finder. Ask for Finder everything. Put that in there. Okay? Finder is nothing more than the Windows Explorer window, right? It's your file in your folders. And it's saying, where do you want it? What do you want to prompt? Okay? And I'm going to say, where to create project. Okay, and it'll start at the top level of desktop. You can put it wherever you wish, okay, but I'm just going to say for now, for demonstration purposes, we're going to make it start on the desktop, and you can select folders when this thing is running, okay. All right, so we're up to 3 steps now, right? Ask for the text, set the variable, and then ask for where we want to put the folder, right? Seems complicated. You go, oh my God, I'm not going to. Trust me, you only have to do this once. Once you've created this application, it'll be there on your computer, and you just simply run it, and it will do everything for you. So again, you're going to put in a little bit of work here, but in the end, it's going to be just one click to do this automation. All right, so we've gone for the finder. Now we need to set the variable of this value, okay? So set value of variable and drag it down, and there we are. New variable, and we will call this one start at, okay? So because we're starting at this folder, right? Whatever folder we're choosing. And again, when it's running, we're going to be able to choose the folder. Start at. Okay, so there we go. So whatever folder we choose, it's going to be stored in a variable called start at. Okay? And again, don't get hung up on the variable things or even understanding this. All you have to do is just follow these steps, make this thing once, and once it's made, it's there forever. Okay? All right, so now, what do? We should get the variable we set. Well, we have to get the variable. All right, so let's get the variable. We're going to get the value. Okay, and what are we going to get the value of? Of the project, right? As you notice, it automatically filled out. We're going to get the value of this. All right. Believe it or not, we are almost done. Okay? And I know for people that don't have any programming in it, they're going, oh my God, I'm never going to do it. Once it's made, it's made. All right? And it's not that hard. Believe me, if it was that hard, I wouldn't be able to do it. So, believe me, if someone as dumb as me can do it, you can do it too. All right. So the last thing is, I want to run what's called a shell script. Sounds intimidating, but it's not. It just means I'm sending us a bunch of commands to make the subfolders. That's all. That's all it means. So I'm going to look for run and shell script. And I'm going to drag that in at the bottom. Okay, so now we have that. And it selects bin bash. You can leave that as default. That'll work just fine. And we need to change the inputs, okay, as arguments. Okay, arguments, big fancy word for we're going to use our variables. All right, get rid of this dummy text here, and we have a blank page. All right, now we're going to type in some commands. And don't get intimidated with these, okay? They're just computer commands to make the subfolders that we want and the subfolders that we want. So the command is mkdir. Short term, that means make directory. Then I'm going to put in quotes, okay, because the computer requires quotes. And I'm going to put the first variable, okay, and the second variable. Now those are dollar signs, okay, if you can't see on the video. It's make directory $1/$2. Translation, that means take whatever folder you selected and whatever the name of the new folder is, and make that folder. Simple. All right. Now, all we're going to do now is repeat a lot of these commands. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it, and I'm going to copy it just to save myself some typing. And, okay, so now I have it again. And the first folder I want to create is the originals. Right? That's where our raw files are going to go. So I just add the originals. See how easy that is now? Now let's do it again. I'm going to paste in the same thing. And now I'm just going to continue on typing. What's the next subfolder that we want to have made? We want our selects folder. Okay. Just make sure you put a slash in there. Okay. All right. We're just cooking right now. Command it in again. And what's our next one? The edit folders. Edits, right? And again. All right, so. All right, and after the edits, we're going to have our outputs. All right. Outputs folder. Okay. See, all we're doing is we're just putting in these commands that are going to build these directories. And I'm going to copy that in there because under the outputs, I want to have a subfolder, right? And what did I say? I want to do all my social media folders, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go Flickr. Boy. Flickr output. I don't know why I'm having a problem typing right today. But, all right. So now we've done that. What's our next one? And again, let's see, Instagram. And, you know, I don't even like the word outputs in there, and it's not needed because I know it's going to be. So I'm going to remove the word output. No reason for that. All right. So, and let's do one more folder. Okay. And outputs, and I'm going to call this one Facebook. Okay. So now if we scroll in here, we're going to say we're going to create the directory using our variables. And the first one we're going to make is a subfolder called Originals, and a subfolder called Selects, a subfolder called Edits. Then we're going to have an output folder, and then we're going to have a subfolder inside of that output folder called Flickr, a subfolder called Instagram, and a subfolder called Facebook. Okay? And believe it or not, we are done. All right? So now all we need to do, okay, is save this. Okay? So we go up to save, and we get to name this. Okay? So I want to call this just Purveyor of Light Demo. I'm going to put it on the desktop, but you could put it wherever you want on your computer. Be handy to keep on your desktop. So, and I'm going to save it. Okay, we're all done with the geeky technical stuff. You never have to look at this ever again. Okay? Never. So, let's think it. You see right here on the desktop, we have our demo. Okay, and you see I already had one previously made that I use. All right, so let's go ahead and test this. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this by double-clicking. The system will then prompt us for the name of the session or the shoot that we're going to do. And we're going to call this the demo shoot. And hit OK. Now it's going to ask me, where would you like to save it? Okay, so if you keep your photos in the pictures folders, you would go to your pictures folder and select it. Or if you use an external hard drive, you would select it. For demo purposes here, I'm just going to say the desktop, just so we have an easy time here. And there's our demo shoot right there, created instantaneously. Now the magic, look at this. In the shoot, we have all of the folders that we created, the originals, the raw files, the outputs, the edits. Everything is there for us. Okay? And we didn't have to do any of that work. So, when we have a new shoot, we just simply run this and it will then do it for you. So that's all there is to it. And until next week, you guys take care.